Hey Vitality fans, today I'm going to talk with Cam F. Awesome. I'm Trey Bennett, nurse practitioner and founder of Vitality Lifestyle Medicine here in Lenexa, Kansas, and today I'm excited to talk with Cam. Cam is a world-class boxer, a comedian, a motivational speaker, and an all-around great guy. Cam, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the introduction.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. All right. So for those out there that don't know you, tell us more about Cam F. Awesome.
So my name is Cam F. Awesome. I'm originally from Long Island, New York. Moved to Kansas City in 2008. I have to get used to saying was because I'm newly retired, boxer. I was a heavyweight boxer. I was captain of the USA national boxing team for a number of years, won numerous national championships, and was able to travel all across the world as captain of the USA national boxing team. And also a plant-based athlete, and had the pleasure of emceeing Veg Fest around the country for a few years. And I believe that's where we met.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. Veg Fest KC by Veg Life Kansas City, the original Kansas City Veg Fest, right?
Yeah, the OG Veg Fest. That's
right. It's been a while though. Yeah. But yeah, so tell me more about, so you were a boxer. I did a little research. I saw that you went plant-based in 2012. So like at what point in your boxing career was that? Was that like, halfway through, or I don't know.
So I was I started boxing in 2006. About 2008, I won my first national championships, just to put that in perspective. And in 2012, I became vegan. So I was captain of the USA national team for 4 years before I did that. But I'm proud to say I've won more national championships as a vegan than I have as, a commoner.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I saw you in the documentary, plant-based athlete documentary called From the Ground Up, which I love that documentary. Yeah. It's really
Did
cool.
You?
And yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet.
Last time I talked to you about that, same thing, man. You still haven't seen it. Man, it's good. And
it's weird to see yourself on TV. I don't like it.
Yeah, I hear you. I can only imagine. But yeah, so you were talking about essentially how when you went plant-based, you became stronger, faster, your recovery times were much quicker, you didn't get as sore when you trained. And that's pretty much everything that an athlete wants, right?
Yeah, but even better than that, when I became vegan, I was about 280. And I dropped down from 280 to 191. 191 is the lowest I got. I didn't want to get any smaller. But I changed weight classes, and I was fighting at heavyweight as opposed to super heavyweight, which made, instead of fighting guys who were 280, 6'7", I was fighting guys who were my size at 200. Okay. So it did give me a great advantage.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw some super heavyweight stuff and some heavyweight stuff, so I was kind of confused about that. So that's pretty cool. So you actually upped your boxing game by, probably increasing your strength to weight ratio essentially. So you won more championships once you dropped that weight.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
It was a weird transition at first. I did it because I lost the bet and had to do it for 28 days.
Yeah. Tell me more about that.
I lost a bet with Bill and Amy Mackey. Amy Mackey of the Engine 2 diet or Engine 2 lifestyle. Lost a bet to her and I decided to do it for 28 days. So there's no meat, no dairy, no animal products, none of that, but also no alcohol. And so the diet entails sobriety, and that's kind of what got me sober, got me on my feet, and allowed me to be the positive person that I am today. So I was only planning on being vegan for 28 days, and around first of all, the food was not great, if I'm being honest, because I went from eating my normal order were 3 McDoubles, no mustard, no pickles, extra onions, extra ketchup, and 3 McChickens with cheese. That's just what I would eat for dinner. Like, came up to just under $7. We're good. And then after becoming vegan, I had to not only become sober, but also no more McDonald's. And that was in my price range. But then I realized, actually, grocery store food is in my price range if I'm willing to put in the work to actually go and buy it. And it took, and I learned it takes 22 days or something for your taste buds to adjust. The first 10 days, it was not appealing to me. It's not what I wanted to eat, but I'm a man, my word. I lost the bet. I decided to keep going. Made myself a promise I'd do the 28 days. But then around day 23, it's the food I realized was like, actually, this isn't too bad. And I realized I started to adjust to it, even though very gassy, by the way. Gassy for the entire 28 days, if I'm being real with you.
It's like it's the initiation, right?
Yeah. I was like, that was the initiation. But after like 26 days, I started getting nervous. I'm like, oh, it's going to be over. Like I really started enjoying it. And like day 27, I was like, and I was like, oh, I could just keep doing it. But if I'm being honest, I didn't know any vegans besides Bill and Amy. But I heard that vegans were terrible people and they were preachy and all that. And I didn't know any personally, so I didn't want to like say I was vegan. So I just decided I was going to do it quietly.
Right.
Because I was looking good. If I'm being real, I did it for vanity. Like I lost 32 pounds in 28 days. Like I started to see an ab and I was like, okay, I'm going to keep going for vanity reasons. Honestly, Trey, I don't care about animals. Like at this point in my life, it wasn't for animals. It was completely for vanity. And I started fighting, like embraced the whole vegan thing for vanity and was vegan. I loved animals or whatever, just like everyone else, but I wasn't vegan for animals, if I'm being honest. And then I was able to MC the first Veg Fest in KC. And then Paul Shapiro saw me there, I believe, and referred me to speak at Farm Sanctuary in Watkins Glen, New York. And I got to fly out there and do their 3-day, their hoedown. And this beautiful lady, Kamiko, took me on a tour around the farm. And it was the first time I grew up in New York. There were no farms where I was. So I got to see cows for the first time. And I thought cows were like all white with perfect like black circles on them. And no, not all cows look like that. There was a cow there that had to be, I'm no exaggerating, 7 feet. His head was higher than my head. It was like a huge cow. And then there were pigs. Pigs aren't the small, cute little pink things. They're still cute, but their pigs are huge. And then there was this goat that would follow. This goat there's like a wheelchair apparatus thing. Like its 2 front legs was good, but its back legs was like a wheelchair almost. And this goat kept following me around. And Kamiko's like, he has a personality. He likes you. And like, I'm playing with a goat as if it's a dog. And I was like, it's the coolest thing in the world. And then like, I spend the entire day on this farm and like, I just sweaty and I get back to this tiny house. They have 3 tiny houses on this property and you get to go in the tiny house and you have to write in the journal. Like if you get to stay in the tiny house, like the tradition is you write about your experience in this journal. And you read other people's experience. And I'm reading the experience of everyone else. And they're talking about the personalities of animals and all of this. And then I catch myself crying because I'm like, so up to this point, I was vegan for years, but it wasn't for animals. So I was like, I was eating meat until I was like 23 years old. I'm like 27 at this point. And it just hit me that the first 23 years of my life, I was eating meat and I didn't feel bad about it. And like, I was crying. I was like sad. I was angry. The first thing I just wanted to get on Twitter and tell people how I felt. And I'm like, oh, actually chill, calm down. It doesn't solve anything. But at that moment, I realized that I do care about animals more than I thought I did. It was so much easier when I didn't care about animals, but like, I can't help it. That's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. Yeah, I think, as far as this lifestyle goes, the more boxes you can check as far as, if you care about your health, care about the animals, care about the environment, if you care about all three, then it just makes it more sustainable. The more of those boxes you can check, the better. And
let's not forget about the environmental box.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. The environment's huge. Definitely. Huge amounts of CO2 and methane and everything from all the cattle production and all the animals. So yeah, I've actually I heard that you like to box in pink shorts. Tell us more about that.
I'll correct you. It was actually a pink skirt.
Okay, that's even better. Yeah. That's even better.
Yeah. When I first moved to Kansas City, a lady who ran the boxing gym, the recreational center, her name was Camilla White, and she had breast cancer. And as an honor to her, I started fighting in breast cancer in pink. My trunks would say "I heart boobs" or other silly things where I walk the line of inappropriateness, as I always do, because that's fun to me. But fought in pink to honor her.
So where did you get into boxing? Were you already into boxing when you moved to Kansas City, or was this where you actually kind of started boxing?
I started boxing my senior year in high school in New York, and I joined the gym because I've always struggled with weight, and I was overweight. I wanted to date to prom, and I thought if I went to the gym, I would stop being bullied because I would look like a boxer, and girls would like me if I looked like a boxer. And I didn't get a date to prom. I went with Patrice Graham. She took me as a friend. I'm over it. I've grown, but boxing has turned out pretty well, so I'm not going to complain too much. Right. I moved out here in 2008 to Kansas City I came out here to spar with a gentleman named Jeremiah Graziano. They called him Wyson, White Mike Tyson. He fought just like Mike Tyson, and his slogan was KMFO, if you can know what that stands for. The first word's knocking, the last word's out. The middle MF, up to your imagination. But
right.
I came out here to spar with him, and it went really well. And I just ended up staying. I came out for 6 days, and I came back for 30 days, and then I just stayed. Fell in love with Kansas City, and I've been here ever since. Even though I do a lot of traveling, as far as the government's concerned, they think I live in Kansas City. So,
yeah, right. Yeah, last time we talked, you were living the van life, kind of on your like national tour type of phase there. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So now I'm assuming, do you think you would have wound that down, COVID or not, or did COVID? I would assume COVID kind of cut that short for you.
Oh, yeah. Life was good in the van, man. It was fun. It was an adventure. I got to just do different veg fest. Basically, every weekend I was driving to a different city to host a veg fest and MC.
That's amazing.
And when you MC, people just bring you free food in hopes that you mention it on stage and they develop a line. And I gained so much weight. I'm being real. In the van, I was trying to work out. I showered at Planet Fitnesses. So when I would get to shower, I would always try to work out before I showered. And I would sleep in Walmart parking lots. But the veg fest, man, just junk food. It doesn't mean if it's even vegan junk food will get you fat. So I had to learn to balance. But it was such a great experience. Unfortunately, when you live in a van and you sleep in Walmart and you shower at Planet Fitness, and then a pandemic happens, you don't have anywhere to sleep or shower. So,
right.
I retired the van life. I found a lady, and actually that has been a great part of my journey because I've been single for so long, and now I found a partner, and she's plant-based as well. She's vegan, and she was vegan before I found her, so it was even perfect. I was actually speaking in some schools out in Portland, Oregon, and that's where she works out there. She's a school counselor, and now I brought her back to Kansas City with me. So nice. We gave up the van life, and we packed everything we owned. We were living in Portland, Oregon together. Packed everything we owned in a van and moved to Kansas City and bought a house. That's
amazing, man. That's awesome. Cam's settling down. Look at you.
Yeah, someone should have told me this life was amazing before. I avoided this for a long time, but I'm so happy now.
Yeah.
Timing is everything, I believe. Timing is everything.
Yes, definitely, definitely. So yeah, speaking of timing, so you essentially at some point you decided to kind of step away from boxing, and you probably could have pursued a professional career with boxing, but I've seen you say multiple times, I just decided, I got what I needed out of boxing, or something like that. Tell me more about that, and what I'd say in general, you're kind of smarter than the average boxer to step away before all your brain cells have been jostled and everything like that.
Yeah. I originally, I shared why I originally started boxing, but what I saw boxing as a resource to give me things that I didn't have. So
Right.
I wanted a six pack. Thought boxing would
Yep.
give me that. I wanted a prom to date. Thought boxing would give me that.
Yep.
Then I was able to get on an airplane for the first time, and I was never on a plane until I started boxing. And then I was like, oh, boxing can allow me to travel. So I have no intentions of turning pro. So I decided I was just going to box and use boxing for everything it's worth, get everything I can get out of the sport, and use that as a bridge into my next journey in life, or I guess a job, because I've never had one of those. I worked at Waffle House when I was 18, but other than that, I haven't had a job. It's been boxing. So I realized that boxing has given me an experience and insight into a world that many people don't get to experience. Getting to go to over 30 countries, going to almost every state, every single state. I've met so many different people. I've learned so much, and I have these experiences. And I began in 2008 speaking at schools to talk to kids about bullying, because that was near and dear to me, because it's why I even got involved in boxing. So I would speak at schools about bullying, and then the principals are like, hey, also kids are sending inappropriate pictures. Can you do? And so I started speaking about appropriate social media use and the long-term effects of a digital footprint. And I began speaking on goal settings and resilience and cultural competence. So was doing that for many of years. And when I was in the van, I was just driving around the country, speaking at schools, doing comedy at night, and emceeing Veg Fest during the weekends. And
awesome.
And I was actually boxing the entire time I was doing that as well. Because if you're number one in the country, you get health insurance, and America's like the Hunger Games. So,
right.
Yeah, now I'm Katniss.
So what would you say, what gets you pumped up? Like, what's your fight song, or what do you do before, before you went up there on stage to fight, or what do you do when you before you go up on stage to give a talk?
To get in the zone. In boxing, you know how people find so much pleasure in trolling online?
Yep.
I don't respect them, because anyone can do that. What got me off before a fight, what got me going, was I would troll before fights. I would troll my opponent. So one of the things I do is when a boxer, before the fight, they put their headphones on and then they put gloves on. So they have the playlist in their phone. They're hyping themselves up. They're shadow boxing. They're doing mix. They're pumped up. Now their song starts playing. They start walking towards the ring for their ring walk. And the boxer's halfway to the ring, and he feels a tap on his shoulder. Guess who it is? It's me. And I'm just like, hey, man, I just want to say good luck before we fought. And I give him a hug. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, but sportsmanship is a part of what the judges judge you on. So He has to hug me back. And he knows it's not genuine. He knows what I'm doing, but he has to hug me back. And I give him a good hug, and I tap him on the butt, because I'm wearing a pink skirt. And when insecure people see me, they feel bad about themselves. But that's not on me. That's on him. Right. And he makes it to the ring. He is so frustrated because I messed up everything in his mind. The way he planned this out the night before, it's not going the way he thought. And then I come out, because I'm the champion, so I come out second. And my theme song is the national anthem. The reason why it's the national anthem, it's not for America, it's for me and my trolling reasons, is it's the worst song in the world to pump you up for a fight. So, because someone already sung the national anthem 10 minutes before. Now I'm playing the national anthem, and everyone has to stop what they're doing, stand up, and look at me. And the entire place, no one's understanding what's going on. And it's just an awkward feeling in the building. And I think that's the most hilarious shit in the world. So
that is hilarious.
That is some of my troll. That's what gets me going for a fight.
That's great. That is awesome. So did you have a favorite boxer growing up, or the way I understand it, you kind of came across boxing by accident? This was kind of an after school program, and you're being bullied, you're overweight, and so you came across boxing by accident, and just use it for a workout, right? And then the rest is history, right?
Yeah.
And you just happen to be amazing at it. And
yeah, I never made a team before. I got cut off every team. One year I made the football. I got injured before I got cut.
Okay.
That's the only time I didn't get cut off a team.
So what's your boxing status now? Do you still go train? I've seen like some posts on social media, you at gyms and stuff like that. I don't know if you're kind of doing some motivational speaking type stuff there, or if you're actually training, or helping other people train, or.
Oh no, I don't have the patience to be a coach.
No.
Boxers are the worst. I say that as one of us.
Yeah.
We are the worst. I don't have it. Maybe when I'm older and I'm a little more patient, but right now I can't deal with us. Yeah. But I have in the beginning of the year, I was sparring. There's a couple heavyweights in Kansas City, and I know it's hard for them to find sparring. And even though I don't want a career out of it, if I can help them out and do some cardio at the same time, sure. Why not? And then in like May or March or some month in early in the year, it was still cold. It was cold the first time part of the year. I scratched my cornea, and then I was like, oh wait, there's no reason why I need to be doing this. Right. So I'm just like, all right, I guess that's the last time. I don't know. Boxing is more of an ego thing for me. I was number one for a very long time, and I ran my weight class. I was like the dominant guy in my weight class for like a decade. And now that I'm gone, of course, someone else is going to take that spot. But does the person who took my spot know that I can beat them? I don't know. So now I feel like I need to make sure they know. So I need to go beat them and then come back and chill out. I'm like, no, we'll be good. We'll be good.
Go beat them 10 years later after your streak. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. But I'm doing a lot of focusing on speaking now, and to me, the same joy that I got from boxing, I get from speaking without the cardio or the brain damage. So I am enjoying the speaking aspect of it. So I started out speaking to students because that's where I was at, and since then I've started a nonprofit, and I speak to students through my nonprofit. But I do speak to corporations now, and I am proud to say that I've been to 30 countries, and I've put my foot in my mouth in 30 countries. Everyone puts their foot in their mouth. I just happen to be the king of it. So knowing that who I am and what I'm capable of, I now lead diversity training for corporations and businesses to talk to people about how they put their foot in their mouth and ways not to do so. So basically intent versus impact, and talking about the statements we make and how other people react to them. So that has been fulfilling, and it's been cool to talk about culture because I'm so intrigued by culture. It's why I box, so I can travel to go to all these different countries and like learn what they do in Ukraine or Finland or Azerbaijan or Russia, or just all these different places I've gotten to go to. And one thing's consistent with every country I've been to is they're all really weird. And they all think the way I live is really weird. And that's like the coolest part about it, is like seeing different family structures and seeing the way like they interact with everyone does things differently. And I think in America, we tend to forget that.
Yes, we definitely do. Yes. We, especially we don't necessarily embrace diversity as well as we should here in America. I saw that you're leading unconscious bias trainings now. Is that kind of under that same umbrella? Tell me more about that. So I saw that I think you were inspired by George Floyd's murder to start those. So that's really amazing. I wanted to kind of highlight that as well.
Oh yeah. I was living in Portland, Oregon with my partner, and George Floyd was murdered, and everyone was marching. And by everyone, I'm in Portland, Oregon. So what I'm saying is white people were marching for Black Lives Matter. And I was like looking out my window like, should I be marching too? Like, but I'm not a marcher. Like, I've been vegan for like 10 years. I've never gone to a vegan march. Once in Canada, I accidentally showed up to something. I didn't realize what it was, but I don't consciously, like, I'm not a marcher. And also, I have to admit that I didn't know why I was marching. I knew what we wanted. We wanted change. I knew when we wanted it now. But I wanted to have a better understanding of what that meant and what that entailed. So I took a couple months and I read as much as I could to educate myself. And I realized the issues that are going on in the world. It's a lot worse than I thought it was. But I saw the first thing I realized was 79% of educators are white females. Students aren't. So, and of course, it's nothing against the 79% of white females, but they may not be the best at communicating with students of different cultures.
Exactly.
Because you're taught to be a teacher, but you're not taught how to interact with different cultures. In college, saying that as someone who didn't go, doesn't adequately prepare you to work in multicultural settings. So what I do is I just offer unconscious bias trainings to help create better multicultural educators. Not that they're doing anything wrong. I'm just trying to help them do things righter. There
you go. Yeah, that's I think we all really have to kind of look within ourselves and see if we are, kind of part of the problem or part of the solution. And you've kind of created this way to become part of the solution. So I think that's awesome. I definitely applaud you for that. So
thank you.
You went from boxer to comedian and motivational speaker. So like, what's next? I mean, what is you seem to really evolve and, roll with the punches, as they say, really well. Like, what's your plan? What's your strategy? I feel like you are, as a boxer, you're probably a master strategist, as you mentioned your song. That's like all strategy, right? So like, what's the grand plan here? You don't have to give away too much of it, but like, what's next for you?
Well, great question. I don't even know, but I know. So what my goal is I think I really enjoy what I do with speaking, and I put a lot of work in it. And the reason why I did stand-up comedy is not to be a stand-up comedian. I did stand-up comedy to learn how to write a joke. I wanted to learn timing. I wanted to have stage presence, and I wanted to insert humor into my speeches. So I did that as just basically, that was my speaking college, I just did comedy. I learned how to write jokes. Of course, when I first started writing jokes, everything was shock humor. It was dirty. There were curses, because that's when you're not good at it, you rely heavily on that type of stuff. But after doing this for so many years, I've learned how to write a joke. I've learned how to carry a joke. I've learned how to transition jokes into more into a serious setting. And I think all these skills that I've learned throughout my life is preparing me to do opening keynotes at conferences. And that is my goal. I want to do opening keynote. The reason why I emceed so many festivals is, I don't know, do you know how much they pay you to MC festivals?
No.
Yeah, they don't. So I did it just because it was something I loved to do, and I wanted to work on my stage presence. So the next thing I want to do is opening keynotes at conferences. So I think, and I want to do something that hasn't been done yet. I want to do something do you know Hassan Minhaj?
Yes, definitely.
Oh,
yeah.
Did you see his special Homecoming?
I did.
On Netflix? Okay. Yeah. When I saw that, I was so happy and so sad at the same time, because what I have been working on with like doing speeches and then inserting humor into my speeches to have an overall point. So every joke has a message or moral to it.
Right.
When I saw him do that, I was like, that is actually what I'm trying to do. And he nailed it. I love that dude.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I want to do. So it's a mix of comedy, and because I don't like when comedians get up and pander and try to be super PC and like PC comedy is more preaching than it is funny.
Yes,
And
I hear you.
I don't want to preach. I want to be funny, but I want to convey a point as well. So I want the audience to be able to leave with something, because I get bored easy. If something's not entertaining, I don't want to do it. So
Yes.
I'm writing speeches in the way that I would want to hear a speech. It's engaging. It's random sometimes. I use slides. There's misdirections. There are dad jokes. I love dad jokes. There's heart. There's feeling. And also, it's not that serious.
Right. Right.
I'm trying to give people the most powerful experience they can get in 58 minutes.
That's awesome. I love it. So Hassan Minaj, I was gonna ask you who your favorite comedians are, so we'll put him on the list. Any others?
Ooh, he's not on the list.
Oh no,
no, he's not in my top 10. But
okay, all right.
As a person, I love his sense of humor. I love it. Just takes a lot to crack my top 10. But Patrice O'Neal is my number one favorite comic of all time. R.I.P.
Nice.
He's dead. And in my top 5 will be Chappelle, Burr, Gary Goldman, and you know Gary Goldman?
I don't know him. I'm gonna have to listen to him.
He's a 6'6" Jewish guy, and I love him because he's a storyteller. His diction is like halfway through a story, he's saying words, and you're like, all right, I'll write this down and see what it means later. He's just so intelligent. You're gonna want to listen to this. I want you to go and Google his joke about grapes and then his joke about cookies. These are both like 15-minute jokes about grapes. You might be telling yourself, no one can talk about grapes for 15 minutes and be funny. I promise you, it will be the greatest joke you've ever heard. He's got another joke about Bill Gates, he does these 15-minute jokes, and he's just great. And my favorite storyteller of all time is Mike Birbiglia.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I had a feeling Chappelle was up there because, his intelligent comedy and, it kind of reminds me of what you're talking about, trying to deliver some comedy along with some facts and some heart and things like that. So
I wanted to say that, but I can't compare myself to Dave Chappelle. I know better. I respect the GOAT. I see him. We're on a whole different level, but that's what I'm aspiring to.
Awesome.
Is to insert humor into a message, because if you listen to his specials, you can get something out of it. You can't. It's not 100% anything serious, but there are nuggets and ways of thinking that you can take out of that. Now, if you can get past all of the shock humor, or he's not even shock humor, he has real humor. If you can get past all the things that you might deem offensive and look past that, and realize that you're watching a man who's talking about funny stuff on a stage with a microphone. You take things with grains of salt. And I say that as a guy who literally speaks on intent versus impact.
All right. So one thing I wanted to ask you about, I had actually a patient ask me to ask you this essentially. So your nutrition, how does that, when you were a vegan athlete and now, is there anything major that changed? AKA, where do you get your protein, Cam?
Here's the thing. When I became vegan, Amy Mackey, what we did was every Sunday, first of all, I lost a bet, boxing match Saturday night. Sunday morning, they showed up at my house with garbage bags, and they took all the food out of my house and brought it to my friend's house, because I can only have like stuff of that diet in my home. I'm like, okay. And then Amy took me to the grocery store. She taught me how to grocery shop. She said, you go on the outside of the grocery store. There's no need to go up and down the aisles. It's just filled with sodium and cans and nonsense. Go to the freezer aisle, the fresh produce or whatever. And then we'd go back home. After we go grocery shopping for about 2 hours, we go to Walmart. We get our cheap stuff at Walmart. We got some stuff at Whole Foods. You can only get at Whole Foods, natural grocers. all over the place. We go home, we all go back to my place, and we called it our Sunday cook-a-thon. So me, her husband, and myself, and then eventually a bunch of people showed up. Every Sunday, we'd go grocery shopping and then cook for 7-8 hours during the day. Like, there's 4 or 5 people in the kitchen cooking. Some people are playing board games, with the idea is Sunday fun day. We're just in the house cooking. And everyone brings their containers. And at the end, we just separate the food into containers. So we make all these different meals and we have food for the whole week. So it was such a cool concept to hang out with people you love all day, cook, and then have food for the entire week. So basically you don't do dishes for the whole week. So it's a win.
Yeah.
But what Amy did was she would try to tell me why I needed to eat things. And I would stop her and I would say, Amy, I don't care. I will just eat whatever you tell me to eat. And I did. So I don't know a lot. And I realized I'm not going to know a lot because I don't care. I realized everyone who's telling you you need protein sells protein.
Right.
Because I don't, I did supplements when I leave the country and I'm not sure if I'll find something vegan. I bring supplements with me, but I don't do supplements. I don't count anything. One thing I did do that helped me tremendously, because I was a boxer and it was hard for me to get to 200 pounds. I have to work out, lose weight, 200 pounds. I'm walking around at 199 right now, and I don't really work out anymore. Right. And that's because I do intermittent fasting. I realized you have to listen to your body. I'm working from home. I realized the fridge is just right there. Right. So when I started doing intermittent fasting on December 4th of last year, Jay-Z's birthday, he's another GOAT. And I decided December 4th I would start. Woke up in the morning. I was like, all right, not eating till noon. I didn't realize it, but I'm here working on the computer. Eventually I would just stand up, walk out to the fridge, open the fridge, and then take a look at the microwave. I'm like, oh, it's 8:37. Gotta wait 3.5 more hours. And then before you know it, I'm standing in front of the fridge. I'm like, okay, it's 10:34. Okay, two more hours. And I realized I eat out of pure habit. I'm not even hungry. Right. To the point, Trey, I promise you, I didn't know what hunger was. I didn't realize, because if you don't eat if you don't eat till noon, it's like, you're not going to die. Right. And I think we tricked ourselves into thinking if we miss a meal or something, we're going to die. And after doing it for after a month, at 12:00, I'm like eating. And then after a few months, I was like, oh, it's 1:17. I forgot to eat. And yes. And now I don't even have to do intermittent fasting. I know when my body's craving food. Not only that, because I eat so clean, I know when I'm craving carbs. I know when I'm craving fats. I know when I'm craving protein. I know how to read my body. Also, my amazing girlfriend makes everything. And I just go to the farmer's market and I bring back a bunch of stuff, and she just makes stuff with plants. Everything we do is pretty much plants. We don't eat any processed foods. Sometimes in a pinch, we have beans in a can, but she does beans as well. We just try to be very conscious of what we do and what we consume, because and be conscious of what you consume, not just food wise, but what you watch, what you listen to, the people that you're around. You should be very conscious of it, because it all makes a difference.
I saw that post, and that everyone follow Cam on Instagram, by the way, because he's got all these inspirational quotes he's always putting out there. And with that post, you said something about being mindful of what you consume with all 5 senses. And that really resonated with me, because, there are a lot of things that you can consume, social media and whatnot, that is detrimental to your health or your mood or your attention span, or all these things, and people don't pay attention to that so much anymore. You can definitely get hooked on a screen, and before you know it, a few hours have flown by, and you're just sitting there scrolling. It's not the most healthy thing. Yeah, not the most healthy plan, definitely. I know that you are a product of an after-school boxing program, and I actually, funny story, we bought a house a while back, and in the basement there was a speed bag and a bunch of boxing equipment. And so when we sold that house, I'm so cheap. Like when we sold that house, I took it out and we put it in my daughter's room, Sage's room. She says hi, by the way.
Hi, Sage.
Yeah, she loves you, man. She was like, I told her that I was interviewing you, and she said, she's like, are you gonna interview from home or from work? Like, please do it from home so I can say hi and stuff. But anyway, so we hung up this boxing speed bag in her room, and she never used it. And now that room is the baby's room, so I had to take it down. And so I wanted to kind of offer, it's got a bunch of stuff here, and then the speed bag. I wanted to offer it to you essentially to, I'd like to donate it kind of like with you or on your behalf or whatever you want to say, to whatever. Is there an after school program around here?
There are tons of gyms around Kansas City, boxing gyms that are for kids. So the reason why I originally started speaking was my coach would make me go to all the high schools and middle schools around Kansas City, talk to the kids about boxing, tell about what the great things boxing did for my life, and then try to get kids to join the free boxing gyms all around Kansas City. Problem is the gyms are free. So there's always a need for volunteers. And whether you have any experience boxing, sometimes they just need someone to give kids water because they have gloves on. They can't get it themselves. Sometimes they need help putting gloves on. And then if you're comfortable doing that, you can also hold mitts for kids. And also sometimes it's a 7 or 8 year old kid. So it's not that intimidating. Okay. So if anyone is ever looking to volunteer any of their time, whether it's Kansas City or anywhere in the country, there are boxing gyms all over. You reach out to me and I will connect you with a gym who would be glad to have you.
That's awesome.
As long as you like pass the background checks and stuff.
Right. So, let me know which one you want this stuff to go to. I got the speed bag at home, and we'll talk about that at some point. Get that.
How do you spell your daughter's name?
Sage, Sage.
Okay, my girl's Sayge.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, man. It's been awesome to talk to you today. So
good to see you, man. It's been a very long time.
I know it has. Yes, unfortunately it's been a long time. I think there is another VegFest KC on the books for next year. Is that right? I mean, I think I saw it, or actually my mom told me that. So I don't know.
I think I ran into your mom recently. I did run into your mom recently.
Where did you see my mom?
It was like in the last 3 weeks or something, and she was like,
she commented. She commented on one of your Facebook posts, I think.
Was that it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she said something about I want to see the airplane again or something like that.
Oh yeah. That's what it was. That was what. Yeah. Sorry, it's all a blur sometimes. But
yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Cam was emceeing the Veg Fest. I don't know, when was that? Time flies. A couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I was cooking soy curls and sampling them out. And Cam made me feed him soy curls using airplane noises. So
thank you for doing it.
That was awesome. But yeah, man, thanks for your time and keep up the amazing work. Let me know how I can support you. I love your mission, and just take care of yourself, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me, and thank you for your time. Have a great day.
Right. All right, buddy. Take care.
Peace.
Hey folks, my cheeks are sore from smiling and laughing after talking to Cam F. Awesome. I hope you enjoyed it as well. You can find Cam at camfawesome.com and as Cam F. Awesome on social. If you got a laugh or perhaps some inspiration, please consider sharing, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thanks for watching and take care.